Hey everybody, Gisele Grenier here, and it's great to be back on YouTube and Facebook again. I took a really long break due to the crap with COVID-19 and a lot of experimental arthritis treatments, and I thought I'd kick off by doing an interview with our very own Michael Ann Fitzgerald, who is the co-admin in the private Facebook group, and she's currently building her own business, teaching, drawing, and mixed media. So we already did this interview last week, and Michael Ann was super nervous. Yeah, I'm going to call you out. You were super nervous. And we did have a bit of technical difficulties, so we had to do the interview again. So I've got my questions in front of me. I'm going to bring my screen over here. Alrighty. So Michael Ann, Michael, I have to get used to calling you Michael, not Michael Ann. So welcome. So basically, introduce yourself and let us know what you're doing.
My name's Michael. I'm married. I've been married for going on 22 years. I have two beautiful granddaughters and a stepdaughter. I've got my notes here. So I'm mostly a graphite and charcoal artist. I really like to draw, but I also like mixed media. And I got my first drawing student this year, so I'm really excited about that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now I have to ask, so and I was caught with this before, does the name Michael sometimes confuse people?
Yes,
when you find out you're a girl? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's basically why I put my middle name on my social media accounts. My Facebook doesn't have it right now because I was going to try to go by Michael, but I'm going to put it back. But yeah, and I get funny faces when I introduce myself to somebody. So yeah, it's interesting.
I think Michael Ann is actually a pretty name too. It's different.
Thank you.
It's different. So
yeah.
So I, heck, I would not mind at all if you just kept it to Michael Ann, I should say. It's easier for me to remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question. So I know with a lot of people that, especially during COVID, I mean, this is a shitstorm of a time, and people are looking to things. I know I'm going off script here, looking for things to keep them busy, for things. So, and a lot of what's coming out now, especially up here in Canada, is a lot of the talk is coming about the mental damage that COVID-19 is doing to us. And a lot of is inspiration of doing something. So what makes you feel inspired? Like, where do you turn to for inspiration? Like something, if you're just feeling kind of blah, like what do you do to inspire yourself?
I like to go on Pinterest and look at photos, and sometimes other people's art will inspire me, like a lot. Just looking at photos, reading, sometimes TV, the weather outside can inspire me, poems, all kinds of things. Yeah.
Now, do you have down there like PBS channels that have art shows and stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't watch it very much, but yeah, we have. I think I don't know if they still play Bob Ross videos, but they do. What's that guy that did acrylic really well?
Jerry Yarnell?
Yes, he's still on.
Yeah, he did. He had two phases. In the first phase where he did the big Yarnell School of Fine Art, then something happened. Then he went off and did something different. So they're probably showing the old videos of what he did.
Yeah, it's the old stuff.
Yeah. So,
but that's good for me.
Yeah, and what about like, do you like watch like wildlife shows and stuff like that? Like TV shows like wildlife, or?
Not too much. I watch more science and UFO type stuff.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
It would be a question. What would you do if you weren't afraid? That would be my question.
Oh.
Yeah, and the reason is because fear isn't real. You can't touch it. You can't see it. It's a feeling. If you can get past that feeling, you can just accomplish anything.
False evidence appearing real. That's what I call fear. Yeah, it's all up here. I think for me to answer that question, it would be to move to the Bahamas full time and not just during the winter months. My fear is living down there in the summer months is the hurricanes.
Yeah.
And like
Yes.
what they had, Hurricane Michael, which decimated the island. Then they had Dorian last year, which they still haven't recovered. And then
Oh,
COVID. But Joe and I have been talking about container homes. And I have one beautiful one right in front of me. If we had that in Freeport, I wouldn't care about hurricanes because they would be airtight. But yeah, I think that if I could do anything, and if I wasn't afraid, it would be moving down there full time. Yeah.
that would be
What about
amazing.
you? What
Sounds
would you
amazing.
do? What would you do?
Oh, I would travel. I would travel the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much to see. I mean, there's some areas of the world where it's not safe to go to, but I mean, there's a
Exactly.
lot to see. There's a lot to see. And
Yeah.
yeah. And, just, I mean, right now I'm just looking outside and it's just like the sky is blue, and just to be outside and just walking and do the trails and come across the coyotes and the foxes and the possums, just to be, even just to go out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to when we can start traveling. We won't be able to go down to the Bahamas for probably about another year.
At least.
It's because of the travel restrictions. So we'll have to explore Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. And next question: what's your absolute favorite medium? You can only pick one, and why is it your favorite?
Oh, that would be graphite pencils, or I just bought some sticks. I'm going to experiment with those. So it's definitely graphite. The reason is it's just relaxing for me. It's kind of like coloring in my head,
Right.
and I lose all track of time and I forget everything. So that's my favorite.
Do you have a particular style when it comes to your drawing? Like, do you do stuff that's like more realistic, or a little bit more impressionistic, or a bit more abstract, or more blended, or?
I think it's more blended. I kind of like the spooky aspect, so yeah, I think it's more blended.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here, this leads into the next question. Like, what's your favorite style of art personally? Your personal favorite style of art?
Oh, like that I do personally?
That you like, your personal style.
I like spooky stuff. I like gothic. I like foggy scenes, foggy landscapes.
The dramatic stuff.
Yeah, kind of mysterious things. Yeah.
I think when you do mysterious stuff, you can tell a story. You can really tell a story with art with the mystery.
Yeah.
I could picture one of your pieces, like I can picture a pathway just with an overhead light, dark, foggy, and then something almost translucent, just kind of hiding in that corner, and then having two people one person walking. It's just, I can just imagine that story. If I look at it, I go, oh, there's a ghost there.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Okay, so now contrary to that, now what's your favorite style of art to teach? Like if I was a beginner, wanted to learn drawing, and I went knock knock knock, Michael Ann, like I want to learn to draw. What style of drawing would you teach me?
Probably faces.
And why is that? And why is that?
I don't know. I have an easier time with it, and it's one of my favorite things. I've been drawing them for quite a while, so I don't know. I really like to do faces. So yeah.
Could be too that faces has a lot of the techniques that you would typically teach with a variety of projects. Like you'll learn detail work, and you'd be able to do blending and detail and proportions and perspective and all that stuff. So yeah, faces are a good thing to.
Yeah.
If you could turn back time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell her?
I would tell her, think for yourself and don't let people make your decisions for you.
Yes. That's a really good piece of advice.
Yes.
There's a lot. And to add to that, there's a guy on YouTube. His name is Gary Vaynerchuk. Absolutely love him. He has a potty mouth, but I absolutely love him. And that's one thing that he's big on, is that you do for you. Don't let your parents tell you what you have to do. Don't let your spouse, your siblings or whatever tell you what to do. A lot of that time too with the inner critic is that somebody will want to do something and say, oh, you shouldn't do that.
Oh yeah.
You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
that's one thing is that, yeah, think for yourself, because that way you're 100% in control of your success.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Agree. Absolutely.
next question. If in 150 years, science fails to save us and all that's left is a book about your life, what would the title be?
Well, I was thinking about this one, and with my memory, and you might agree, I was thinking, wait, let me write this down. It would be my title.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. You got to write stuff down. But yeah,
Yeah, I do.
speaking of that, so you may want to take a look at, the, he's an author, but he's more than an author. He's an actual brain coach, Jim Quick, Kwik.
Okay.
I took some of his course. He has a book out that will change. He's big on meta learning how to learn. So write it down, Jim Quick. And the book is called Limitless.
Okay.
Yeah, and that will, it's basically learning how to learn, and it's made, I don't know if it works for a lot of people, but there's just, I think we may be able to get a free chapter or something, but take a look and see. But that, from memory, because your memory's like, your brain's like a muscle, and yeah, he has a lot of exercises. Sorry?
My muscle is weak.
Yeah, and he does talk about that, why it becomes weak. Okay, so what's the most important thing you've learned in your life regarding creativity?
Just not to give up, to keep pushing through. You got to learn before you got to, you got to crawl before you walk. So
exactly. Do you find that a lot of people want to basically skip the crawling and go straight to the walking?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I didn't want to crawl.
And you get frustrated, then you want to quit.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't quit, and I'm happy I didn't.
Right.
So, yeah.
Now, if a student were to come to you and basically, like, because you've got a plan laid out to teach somebody, the drawing, like, this is what we're going to cover. And if they say, well, I don't want to do faces, I want to go right to drawing an animal portrait. Like, they want to do a full, they want to basically be perfect right up front. And like, how would you kind of bring them back to the foundation?
Just talk to them, I guess, and just remind them that, you had to learn your ABCs before you could write. Your writing wasn't beautiful when you started, and your art won't be either. Just try to enjoy the process as much as you can, and at least get to learn your supplies.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So.
What's the next question? How old were you when you first felt your creative spark?
Well, I was thinking about this, and I've been drawing since I was a kid, but I don't remember feeling the spark until my 40s. And that was my kick in the butt to get going again. Yeah.
Really? So, so how did you, like, what did it feel like when you kind of went, oh, like, was there?
I didn't know what to do about it at first. I was watching a lot of Bob Ross and saying, I want to do what he's doing. And my husband just finally said, let's go. We're going to the art store. And he bought me a bunch of supplies. And here we are.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good that your husband's supportive. Like, not a lot of husbands will be or partners will be supportive when you really want to do something, especially when it's art. I think being creative gets a bad rap. I really do. So too. That term starving artist, which is a load of bullshit. I mean,
yeah.
It's art itself, I think. Now, I know we're going off script, but I think art itself, and let me know if you agree, it's not like you need to buy clothes or food. It's not a necessity to survive. But can you imagine the world we would live in if there wasn't any art? We're talking no music, no visual art, no dramatic art, no dance. Can you imagine a world without art?
Yeah, even clothes can be art.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, it can be if you're Lady Gaga.
Yeah. I love her.
But yeah, so I think when people think, about buying art or taking art lessons, they think it's frivolous, and I don't think so, because
Exactly.
when it comes to art with somebody taking art lessons and learning a skill, I think a lot of that, I think the bigger benefit to that is your brain, like being
Yeah.
able to explore your creativity.
Yeah.
And I think if more people were allowed to do that without feeling um, like they're wasting their time, I think,
Mhm.
mental issues might be a little bit more stable. I'm trying to be very politically correct, correct here.
You're
Um,
doing a good job.
but it's yeah, I think like when kids are little, they're not afraid of anything.
Exactly.
Not afraid of anything. And even
Yeah.
when creating art, I mean, they just
You have to learn
do
to
their
be
thing.
afraid.
And it's when they get older and people start
Mhm.
passing judgment, that's when
Exactly.
everything's downhill from there.
Yeah,
So
you learn to be afraid after that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's move on more onto that. So we all have an inner critic. You have one, right?
Yes, I do.
What do you call
I
her?
do. Beverly.
Beverly?
Beverly.
Ah.
Yeah. She's
And
not
is she mouthy? Is she just yappy? Is she just whiny?
judgy. Very judgy.
Ah.
She talks a lot when things aren't going right, and in the very beginning, like if I'm not sure of my skills or for a project, she's right there in the front screaming at me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and we can talk the talk and say, oh yeah, just take that inner critic and just push her, just fluff her off your shoulder. And that it's one thing to say it, it's another
Yes,
thing to experience it. Yeah.
exactly.
So, um, next question: where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, thanks to you. I'm hoping to have an amazing website with a lot of tutorials, drawing tutorials, and you're helping me get that going. And the YouTube channel. I'm hoping to have some bunch of videos under my belt and be used to being on camera by then. And I'm hoping to take some of my art down to the local. There's a small gallery here in town. So yeah, that's my plans.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Fingers
Now,
crossed.
so I'm going to go back to now the inner critic thing and where you see yourself in 5 years. So when I started forcing you to go on camera, like face to face,
Yeah.
what kind of feelings did you have about that?
Oh gosh, I was so scared. It was terrible. It's funny. I wouldn't mind talking to you face to face, but talking to you on camera is scary.
Why is
No,
that?
I don't know. I guess just knowing that people are going to watch it, um, maybe thinking people are going to judge me a little bit. I don't know. It's just
So that goes back
scary.
to the inner critic again.
Yes, definitely. And my look,
Ah.
not comfortable with how I look. So
Oh, who cares? I mean,
yeah,
you saw me a couple days ago without makeup, and it's like,
yeah.
scary movie.
When it's just you and I, it's okay. But no, it's going to be on YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah, and I know exactly where you're coming from, because when we first started doing the filming, and Harrison and Joe were actually manning the cameras and that, and it was just like, I spent more time worrying about that and didn't really think about being on camera. It's only when I
Right.
started doing it myself and I went, oh, okay. I was now less concerned about the perfection of a studio, and then now more concerned about making sure people, I didn't talk too fast. That was my big thing, is I talked too fast. And I say a lot. And people
Ah.
called me out on that. And now I would just say, oh, F off.
Good for you.
It's just a trait,
Yeah, everybody says, you can't help it.
Yeah. And yeah, we watched How I Met Your Mother. We're watching that now. And it's the episode where Robin is but.
Oh, no.
It was made into a drinking game. Told you so. We should do that, except we don't drink anymore.
Darn.
But yeah, so I think with being on camera, with you being on camera, I think that really helps with your confidence, and that thing, not just on camera, but then again when you're creating your art, because what's the worst that can happen on camera? We have a
Right.
technical glitch like we did last week, so we just do it again, or we do a voiceover, or we just put titles or something. You know, that because the internet, it's so out of our control. We're at the mercy of everything else. And I
Yeah.
think with your art, when you're doing your art, art is so subjective. You may do something I like, but you don't like, and then you may do something that I don't like that you like. So I think that's a lot where a lot of the inner critic comes into play. And I know that we're going to have to do another interview specifically on the inner critic with when you're teaching a student. And I'm thinking probably an online student instead of an in-person student, but how to deal when they go through their inner critic issues, because you're going to
Right.
have that with beginners who are wanting to draw and think, I can't do this. I'm no good. And then it's now
Yeah.
finding the encouraging words to tell that student without sounding like it's something you have to say. And I think when you draw on your own experiences of your nervousness and your self-confidence issues of being on camera, you can pull on that experience to say, what's the worst that can happen? So
Yeah.
you're drawing and you make a mistake. Who cares? It's just
Piece of
paper.
paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where you're really going to shine, is because you can draw on your personal experiences for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of mistakes.
But what's good about making mistakes?
Oh, you learn.
That's right.
You know, you learn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You learn. And that's,
Yeah. I think that's how you get your style
I think
somewhat too.
so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay, so have you done something with your art, like not even so much teaching it, but personally done something with your art, something that didn't work, and then all of a sudden you went, wow, this is great. Have you had that?
Oh yeah. Uh, a couple of times I've been using Arch's watercolor
Excuse
paper.
me.
Bless you.
Thank
I've
you.
been using Arch's watercolor paper, and I guess I've been overloading it with water to where it just when the paper dries, I go to put in that second coat on, and the paint just sinks in. And pretty much you would think, well, this is ruined, right? Well, no, I got to get out my pastels, and that's when I make it a mixed media.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you screw it up, make it a mixed media. Just keep going and at least try. You got to try.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a bad issue with Arches. The sizing that was inside it, the particular sheet I had, the sizing inside it was not even. So when I wet the paper, had it mounted and everything, and then one part just buckled and the other part was completely flat. So apparently they had a bad batch of paper. We're talking years ago though.
Oh darn.
But I got another sneeze coming.
Oh no.
Oh geez. Okay. So I know that we're working on getting you set up to teach your formal lessons online, but can you give us a hint of some of the tutorials that you're currently working on that are going to be available in the Facebook group for the members?
Yes. I'm currently trying to upload a video, a general comparison of graphite and charcoal.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm going to be doing the comparisons between portraits and faces, pet portraits and animals.
Good
So
stuff.
I'll be doing all four of those.
Good. And I know from when I was teaching drawing, people were so fixated, I only want to do pet portraits, or I only want to do animals, or I only want to do flowers. But they tend to forget sometimes that once you know the foundation of everything, you know the differences of the charcoal and graphite and what they can do.
Exactly.
The differences between a kneadable eraser, a PVC eraser, a pink eraser, you'll know what it can do. Once you learn the foundations of what your supplies can do, and then you learn the techniques, from there, I mean, you can do anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And if you see your the subjects that you're drawing as shapes, yeah, you got it in the bag.
That is so key. That is so key. Did you always look at the objects as shapes when you were drawing?
No, especially when I first started, I was drawing faces, and I got to draw the nose, I got to draw the eye. No, I shouldn't have been doing that. Or draw this
Right.
shape, draw that shape. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much easier.
With when you look at when you're drawing and you label it, okay, I'm drawing the eye now. That's when your inner critic starts to come in. It doesn't
Yes.
look like an eye, doesn't look like a nose, doesn't look like a mouth. A lot of
Exactly.
times, well, closer to the end, because I had so much pain with my arthritis, I didn't care. I just wanted it over and done with. I would actually turn my pieces upside down to do a lot of the drawing.
Oh yeah.
That way I couldn't
Yeah,
tell.
that's how I took my work.
And then we also built a frame around the drawing, piece of wood about 1/2 inch high. And then I would put a board to actually cover the drawing without actually touching the drawing. I would actually cover the board just so I didn't have to look at it.
Oh,
But that's up. You know, sometimes I've done art with a maul stick. I use my father-in-law's cane on my easel, and I kind of rest my hand on the cane.
yeah.
It's almost the same type of thing. So you just have a piece of wood frame around your drawing, and the wood another board sits on top. That way your hand is up. That way you're not having to put your hand on paper towel or tracing paper that still goes on your drawing.
Yeah.
I found that mistake out when I was doing charcoal. I put paper on top of charcoal to protect, because you can't put your hands directly on paper.
Right.
And then I would smudge it. So yeah, so that was one thing. And then not looking at things as eyes and noses and looking at them as shapes, that really helped.
Yeah. I got an old pole cue as a to prop my arm
Oh,
on.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like I have a pole cue.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience so they get to learn more about you?
Well, like other types of art, I like doing mixed media. I do a little bit of watercolor. I do some acrylic, and I'm learning oils at the moment. Yeah, that's a lot of fun and kind of confusing at the same time.
Yeah, oils was my first passion. You want to try something? Who makes it? Winsor Newton, maybe? Oil paper. It's an actual paper for oil. I don't know if they still make it, but I bought some years ago at the art store, and it wasn't bad. It's almost like painting on watercolor paper.
Oh, nice.
It's a little slicker. And I'm saying that now, and I'm thinking, well, what's the difference? You can just take regular paper and then gesso the heck out of it. There you go. You're painting. You can put oil painting on paper.
Yeah, I was thinking about
save the money.
Watercolor paper. Yeah, I'm not a canvas painter. I don't know, something about it seems too formal to me, and I get nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love paper. Yeah, and it's easier to store.
Have you tried? That would have been more for acrylic. Have you tried? Like, now basically there's nothing on the script for this, but what's the weirdest thing you've painted on? Like the weirdest substrate you've painted on?
Probably cardboard. I haven't done anything too weird. Yeah. I'm pretty mellow.
I went to the reservation many years ago, and I got a piece of deer hide. And I painted on deer hide, and I painted a wolf on the deer hide, and I told the person that was buying it from, said, "Oh, would have been so cool if I had a picture of the wolf that caused the demise of that deer."
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was very different. But yeah, and we can even do faux suede, and you can paint on leather. There's all these different things. But yeah, I think even that is just a way to experiment, try and paint on different things. And
that'd be pretty neat. I'd love to do a saw, one of those long saws.
Oh yeah.
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah.
But something spooky.
Yeah, there's this or even a machete.
Oh,
if they're legal. I don't know if they're legal.
They aren't either, of course.
But you could make one out of cardboard and then paint it silver. And
that'd be neat. Yeah. Actually, I take that machete thing back. I don't know if it's legal here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Take it back. So for those that are watching, so the videos that Michael Ann is going to be uploading into the Facebook group are free for the members, and it doesn't cost anything to be a member. So we'll leave the link to the Facebook group below. And then we'll update the videos when Michael Ann gets her channel going, her YouTube channel going and everything. And for those of you that are watching this video on my YouTube channel, so you're probably, a lot of you are probably already in the Facebook group, but just comment below anything you'd like to learn from Michael Ann or anything you'd like to see her doing, because it's what you guys want. I keep hitting the microphone. It's what you guys are looking for is going to help her create content, because we're going to be featuring some of her content on my channel, because arthritis is,
Yeah.
that Dr. Ho system is amazing. Not for my wrist.
Oh no.
Not working for my wrist because it's bone. It's like I feel zero pain in my body now.
Wow.
Nothing. Even my knees are fine, but my wrist, because it's just the bone, no. So I don't know what to do.
The rest of you is pain-free.
Yeah, but yeah. So thank you, Michael Ann, for doing this talk for the second time, and hopefully when we get the video done, it'll be fine.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you.
And for those of you watching, so go into the Facebook group to check out all this stuff, the tutorials that Michael Ann has put up there so far, and let us know below what you'd like to see her doing when she gets her YouTube channel set up, because that's going to be a little bit of time to get that going. So give us some feedback what you want to see, and don't forget to subscribe. That way you'll get notified and click the bell. That way you'll know when videos are posted that she's done. Alrighty, so thanks again, Michael Ann, and we will see you in about 5 minutes when I end the video.
Thank you.